If you don't judge yourself, nobody else can judge you. And the judgments no longer, belong in your temple, in your sacred place. And people will judge, of course, that's what they do sometimes in life. But it's not true. So you will not believe their judgments because you're not offering that to your body, because your body deserves respect, because your body has feelings, has emotions. And this is the most beautiful thing that we can ever be at service to, our emotional being. Because it's our emotional being that we want to run away when it's in pain. Why do we want to run away from our emotional pain? It's time to confront our emotional pain. It's time for service. It's time for healing. And these days, the judgments will not hit us because we no longer believe them, because we have found the truth. And the truth, it is every day we wake up. So just a few minutes ago, I had the beautiful gift to waking up again. And I see the beautiful snow around me. And I see the beautiful weather changing. It's because that's Mother Earth. It has changes. It changes. It has seasons. And we also have seasons. We also have weather. Sadness comes and goes. Happiness comes and goes. But the service, the one who is always watching, always observing, the one who is in love with life, that is in service to life, is always present because he has woken up. And I love to say, once you wake up, you can no longer go back to sleep. So we will not be afraid of anybody's judgments. We will not be afraid of anybody's poison. Why? Because we will no longer use it to hurt ourselves with it. Do you hear what I said? We will no longer use other people's art to hurt ourselves with. We will respect their art and respect ours as well. No one has the right to scream at us. No one has the right to disrespect us. And we don't have the right to put anybody down. We don't have the right to disrespect anybody. Because when you enter the dream of harmony, every negative thing is so loud. And who is it loud to? To the emotional body. The emotional body deserves, our service. It's long overdue. I remember when I look into the mirror when I lost my eyesight, and I begin looking in the mirror for the first time. I begin observing how loyal this beautiful reflection is to me. How it has survived with me, has accompanied me to everything that I went to hurt Jose with. And I say what? That moment, I said, it's my time to start the Toltec practice of life. And in the practice Toltec of life, there is nothing to learn, but to unlearn what takes our inspiration away. So if it's my own judgments that takes my inspiration away, I found the antidote of this artist to create the art from the heart, because I was the one denying the art from the heart. Do you ever love somebody, someone? Do you ever love this beautiful place and you deny it to yourself? And then your body felt, not inspired anymore, not even why try. Why do we believe these temptations? The temptations of negative habits to, destroy everything that we love. When the sun comes out, we come out as well because we wake up for another day of service, another day of enjoyment. And when we see ourselves from a personal point of view, it's one of the most beautiful, lessons of life. Why? Because we see ourselves from a personal point of view, seeing on automatic habits. Seeing without judgment and without the ego, without feeling the personal importance. This is how I have to be seen. No, people only see what they want to see. Could you imagine seeing what you don't want to see anymore and confronting it and saying, like Buddha said to Mara, architect, you will not rebuild your home here anymore. So, in life, I get so many judgments. So many people want me to live, my life, how they see I should be living my life. People get disappointed in themselves, and then something happens and blame it on the people they love the most. And then they poke all that energy towards it because they feel safe. But, that's injustice. That's almost a betrayal to bully somebody who can take it, who unleash your irritation, your poison to somebody. And then, when we have the awareness, we want to beg for forgiveness. Please, please forgive me so I can do it again. You need to forgive if you're not ready to forgive. Because in one point, forgiving, it is something that comes naturally. It's when you don't want poison for yourself. Sometimes it seems that I forgive some people in my life, But I forgive myself from allowing those people to give them power, and they don't even have awareness to hurt myself with. I forgive them. And doesn't mean I have to hang with them. They have their path, they have their life. But their part in my story is over. Our story together is over, like the beautiful saying says. Now come to go into new life. You know, in these times, people get so blinded by reaction, by irritation. They're not even realizing they could lose, you know, their beautiful siblings over what? Fake illusions, you know, over, you know, religion, politics, and all these crazy things that's happening in the world that make us feel separate from one another. And it's not there only, it's in our everyday lives, in our homes. You know, personal importance and ego. It seems harmless, but it does a lot of harm. Why? Because it begins hurting a lot of people, and people do not know they're hurting people. And when you begin having awareness that you're hurting people in the name of your ego, man, that's when everything begins to change. That's when I remember being with my ex-wife, and we were together. You know, we loved each other, but at the same time, we fight a lot. You know, we were fighting a lot because we were unhappy in a point of life. And the moment that, you know, that I decided, oh my God, she's hurting herself with me. And if I truly love her, what am I supposed to do? I looked down inside of me and remove myself, because I really love this person and I really love myself. But unconditional love, it is, if I'm doing harm to this person, I have to walk away. Doesn't mean I don't love them. I mean, I love them unconditionally, that I don't have to cut their wings or control them to feel safe in my own story. Everything I do has nothing to do with that person. And everything that that person does has nothing to do with me. But when I got to the realization that that was happening, I just decided to walk away because it was affecting us both. You know, a year later, she gives me a call and says, thank you. Thank you, because I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. And I didn't want to admit to myself, because I was afraid of the unknown, of being alone again. And all these stories that come up that were not even true. I found my passion, and my passion is service. So she went and worked in the Self-Realization Center, you know, not for income, but to serve, you know, her time. Because when we begin doing goodness in life, instead of negative things in life, based by the ego and the personal importance and the validation, when we let that illusion behind, we don't need to be validated, so we're not afraid to be judged. So what? I am like this. I was like that, and I will be something else in the future. So what? Who cares? The moment that people start judging me, it's like I'm going shopping, saying, okay, let me see what I can find so I can stop and paralyze myself, paralyze my dream. Anything I can use to judge myself so I don't take the action, you know, because I'm ready to take action. But at the same time, fear of the unknown and fear of emotional manipulation. And you know, that's a crazy thing in life. Emotional manipulation. To tell people, if you really love me, you will do what I want you to do. If you don't do this, it means that you don't love me. You have to prove yourself. You have to prove your love. Do we really need to prove our love? When was, you know, a nectar of a fruit that wasn't ready to give from the tree? It was just blooming, and they cut it out from the tree, and they were so mad at it. You were supposed to be fresh. Hey, it wasn't ready. You cannot force freshness. You cannot, you know, be ready to give a fruit that's gonna be delicious when it's still in the making. That's why everything that we can do in life, if we don't have no expectations, we're just giving ourselves without trying to manipulate anybody, trying to buy anybody. Because why I say buy anybody? Because many people think if they sacrifice themselves, if they give into this party, you know, or they buy people's food every day, or people's whatever, you know, and then in the moment that something comes up, hey, you should be loyal to me because I gave you this, I gave you that. So emotional slavery, emotional possession is a suppression that needs to end. Why? Because all of us, all humans, all women, all men, all children have the potential to create beautiful dreams. And this is something so powerful. When we allow the little ones that know that they're powerful, that their dreams can be a reality and they can be manifested, instead of cutting their wings, saying, you're not because someone cut our wings. Hear what I mean? Let's break the chain of the artist When we talk about the Toltec, like I say many times before, we're not talking about 2,500 years ago, hiding behind a tradition. No, we're in modern times. And every modern time, it can be translated. Just put attention. Just put attention how things are happening in life. And then we can go into different places, into different times of history, read the lessons, and it's the same thing. Why? Because the illusion is just getting smarter and smarter and smarter. You know, when we begin heartbroken, and then we're imagining, you know, we get jealous, let's say, and then we're imagining what this person is doing. Where is this person at? What is this person doing? All of these things that we're imagining is not real, but we're creating a story, a potential to hurt ourselves with. And what will happen when we see this person is going to be fighting because it's wounds being created. And when a bomb is ready to explode, an emotional bomb is ready to explode, it is the irritation that, you know, begins. And if one people use substance, then if you use substance and the depression together, it will just explode. This is why the addiction of suffering in our own life needs to be addressed, not to somebody else outside of us, to ourselves. You know, one of my favorite parts of the Four Agreements was the beginning of the book. Why? Because it tells a story how Father is climbing up a mountain and getting inside a cave that is dark, and he finds the light within himself, and then it starts illuminating the cave. Well, that cave for me represented his mind. I was imagining that he came where his mind was doing all this debating, all this fighting, all this judging, and all this chaos from the dream of the planet, and he came to his mind to clean up his temple. So he brought his light, and his light was his common sense, was his words of peace, was his burst of integrity. And then when he made peace in his head, he went to the outside. And when we went to the outside, he was on a cliff, and he didn't know if the stars were perceiving him or he was perceiving the stars. It didn't matter because he was alive. He was looking at the trees, and he didn't know if the lungs of the trees were his lungs because he didn't breathe in the air. He didn't know who was perceiving who. But the beautiful thing about this story that I imagine is like when we make peace with ourselves, we overcome some suffering in our head. We come back to life. The sun comes out. We're ready to love again. We're ready to heal ourselves. So we begin healing. And then it's like coming out of the cave because we illuminated our mind with all these words of wisdom, with these activities. And then when we look out, we see people's hearts, people's smiles. We see the birds fly. We see the sun shining. We see the beautiful snow in the ground melting because it's just life. And I can see myself in every place in that moment. And that's the beautiful thing about the Four Agreements. When you get your integrity back and you walk with integrity, you can feel integrity when it is in your face. And now there's no need for superstition or waiting for the Savior to come and save us or to fear God. No, we don't need to fear God. We have to embrace God. And you and me are God. And life, it is God. Everything in life, it is God. So the word is just a little baby that is like 10,000-year-old baby that is full of knowledge, but it is like an atom. It is like those science things that can mutate into whatever thing, because that is what Father always said. I'm not responsible for what I'm not responsible for what people understand. I am responsible for what I'm saying. And when you are responsible for what you're saying, it's because you have faith in your word. Now imagine, you purify your word. One of the most powerful things in life is to control our emotional poison. When we are ready to scream at somebody, when we're ready to fight with debate and to put ourselves down and to, get into the phone and get all our appointments and canceling them. We don't want to see, we want to quit, we want to do things. When we see all that emotional poison, we can see how that negativity feeling doesn't care for the story. It just wants to create a story to hook our attention. And when it hooks our attention, we take it personal and we create all these assumptions that make us never do our best because we have poisoned the word. And when we feel that we have poisoned our word, we feel it. We can be wearing a mask, pretending, fake it till we make it, lying to people and not doing anything in our life. But the moment that we understand that this feeling is inside of us, we do everything we can to heal ourselves from removing this emotional poison. That's why I say, it's no one's business how we heal. If I want to go to the top of the mountain and scream, because that's how I release, That's beautiful. Many traditions do that when they play the wolf song, when they howl at the moon. They just let their emotion out. If it's wanting to run, it is good. It's want to play guitar, it is good. We all have a way to trick our own self, our own. And it's that moment that we have to wait. When I was a kid, I remember when parents domesticated their children with a belt and they hit them, because they couldn't control. There was a commercial in Mexico when I was young that say, okay, parents, before you lose irritation for whatever happens in life, I know life is hard, the bills, these things, but don't take it out on your children. Before your children does something that you lose it, count until 10. And they calm down. I'm so glad that people spoke up for that now it's illegal to hurt children with belts, but in that time it was real. And people take it out on their little siblings, and the poison began happening, and it was domesticated by fear. It breaks my heart when people do that. It breaks my heart when people do that to little puppies and little animals. But this is humankind, because they are asking for help. All those people who are doing this mass injustice to these little creatures and to other human beings, they're asking for help because they have to constantly do something negative to numb that part, and they run automatically now. That's why it is beautiful to realize that you are the Divine Mother, even if you're male. I say this so many times. Why? It's because this is meant of life. This doesn't care for words or separation. This is just life. Doesn't matter if I'm male or female, if I'm a little kid or an elder, I'm still alive. I am this force that can still bring energy from the unmanifest into manifest as you. So when we have the privilege of bringing manifestation from the infinite into this world, don't you think it's a privilege? Do you think something outside of us trusted us with this power? That we can think, let's say, I think about this painting. Let me get these crayons and put it into paper, and now I project the painting in my head into paper. Now that can inspire other people or stop other people to see the creation that I have made. Now imagine if we all are responsible for what we bring into life. And this it is what it feels like when we confront the serpent, or when we confront Mara, when we confront that any negativity that comes from all the wisdom books, from all the religious books, the mystery school books. Why? Because at the end of the day, we were this happy being that got confronted with depression. And depression has a language, negativity, that says, please destroy yourself. Please hurt yourself. Then I can heal you. Sound familiar? It is like medicine they give to some humans, thinking they're going to heal them. It heals them for that little thing they're taking it, but it destroys 10 other things that now they need medicine for 10 other things. I tell you, one of the most beautiful things for emotional healing is the will, our strength, the power to love ourselves unconditionally. Because like Morrissey says, one of my favorite singers, it takes strength to be gentle and kind. And I was singing that song one day. It takes strength to be gentle and kind to others, but what about to ourselves? It takes so much strength and kindness to really be doing this in our own self. To give us this kind love, to not hurt ourselves with our own words, or to whatever is happening outside of life. Like all those judgments, if a person comes and slaps me in my face, it's not personal. Why? It wants me to get personal, but it's not, because that person is just suffering. I know that I don't hate this person. I'm not angry at this person, but that person could be angry. That's why I say everything that people do negative in our life, it has nothing to do with us. I really want you to realize you don't have to take that to hurt yourself with. If somebody in your job is having a bad day and cursing everybody, it has nothing to do with you. You're not responsible for those people. Everybody's responsible for their own life. And we can only give them 3 cents. And when I mean 3 cents, it means 3 opportunities. But the moment that it starts hurting us and affecting our art, we have to be respectful. Because let's say we have this, this evil person that hurts children, and it's a family member. And we bring them in our home, and the first thing that it does, the first sign that it does that is hurting the children, it's out. But what about your kindness? What about your heart? Hey, the kids, There's no story justification that's going to convince me to kids to be vulnerable to something that is negative. Now, using this example, everybody's a kid. You know, I sometimes hang with the 50, 60-year-olds, and I see their kind heart, and I see little children, like in their teenage kids. It is so beautiful when we can see a kind heart. That's why when you see the Dalai Lama, like when I see the Dalai Lama, I just see this beautiful soul, like a childlike, even though he went through so much, hard things in life, he still holds that innocence. The Inca tradition, they're the children of the sun. When you see true Incas, their whole being is just like a little kids, playing, wanting to see what's mother bring for us today to do. So here's what I'm saying. What has mother brought us this day to do? November. The day of being grateful. The month of being grateful. Why does it only have to be one day, 1 month? Gratitude to be alive can be the creation of so many generous acts of love. When we're grateful to be alive, everything begins to shift. When we're grateful to be alive, we're the sober person in a room where everybody's completely drunk, and we don't try to change them. We just let them live their life. We're enjoying them because we respect them that one day they will wake up. And here's the thing that I say to you right now. You have no idea, by you walking your talk, by you being faithful to you, by you transforming your life, you have no idea how many lives you are changing around you that look up to you, that you have no realization. I know because I begin seeing the same thing. Even taking care of the body is one of the most powerful things. Why? Because if we're going to grow older, we're going to have to know that today we are alive. Alive to do what's in our heart, to create that art and send it to the mind. And the mind can translate it and send it to the body. And the hands and the brain will begin creating such beautiful story. And it's going to be offering it to the altar. And the altar, my friends, my sisters, my brothers, my living human beings, family, is what we have inside. We are the ones who's making the offering to the altar. And the altar is life. Can you feel it within you as you breathe? Can you feel it within you as you feel alive and breathe? You can have all the journeys that you can take. You can go any road you want to take. Feel yourself alive. Now, just follow your heart. And when you follow your heart, you will get all the tools, all the colors to keep creating your life as a masterpiece of art. Because that's what Toltec it is to get the suffering, the negativity, the pain in life, mash it up, manifest it into beautiful jewelry, beautiful art, beautiful words that will change words, because that jewelry, somebody will hold it. Like I hold this one. And I got a remembering of what my intent it is. And my intent it is to take care of Jose, which is the love of my life. No matter what happens, I know that if I don't judge myself, nobody else can judge me. Now I can just imagine a human that takes its heart out and begins walking in the fire walk with all the butterflies in the stomach. But when it ends the fire, it overcame what it needed to overcome. And in the hands it carries the beautiful dove that it sets free, because it's our spirit that it sets free. We are love. We have Divine Mother, Divine Father, and whatever we create will be the Holy Trinity. Om Eteo, Om Sai Ram, Shiva Shakti, to Spirit, Amen. Remember, you're here as a gatekeeper of the infinite. When you close your eyes, that's where dreams are born. Everything you think, that you imagine, every idea that you have It's inside of you, and when you open it, it's ready to give birth. And it will come out in your words, in your art. And people will get it, get inspired, and go creating. We're now in the dream of life, feeding life to create life. And we all are life. I see you next Monday, and thank you for listening. Once again, I say time is the most precious thing, and thank you for sharing your time with me.